Hey everybody! Hopefully we have some people join us. Sorry for the little bit of delay. My printer, I was having some printing problems, and as it was, it didn't print out quite right, and then I cut the first page in half, and I'm like, oh well, this is just one of those days. But I'm glad that I got to celebrate my mom's birthday today. We were just over there singing and having cake and talking. So I'm glad I got to do that, but that put me a little bit behind, and as did have it, like I had a doctor's appointment and I like to be prepared, and it was probably a good thing because I ended up sitting in the parking lot for half an hour waiting for them to call me in because the directions were very specific. It said, click on this one link when you get here, and then I did, and they said, wait here until we call you, and they never did. So I'm like following directions, right? And then I got a call and they're like, are you here? I'm like, yeah, I'm here. I've been here for like 25, almost 30 minutes. And so as it turned out, they had not noticed. Apparently everyone else ignores the directions and comes in. And so I don't know. So I'm sitting here in the parking lot just waiting. But it was good that I was organized because then I could, we could go through the things that I was concerned about quickly. So glad you're here. Even if I had to do this by myself, that'd be okay. But I really like to share this in live. That's the Facebook Live part, right? So if I'd love to know who's here. So please comment. That always helps. Hey, Diane. I'm glad you're here. Hopefully we'll have some more. I know my mom probably won't. She told me she had something else going, but it's her birthday, so she's allowed, right? So, all right, I'm going to flip you down, and forgive me that I chopped the first page in half, but it should be fine. So, all right, here we go. All right. Oh, I did some cleaning and arranging. Oh dear, I hope you didn't see that top part. Ugh. For goodness sake. There we go. I will adjust this. Okay. Yeah, that's the good news. With having a table, I can do that with. It's a little easier than adjusting the top thing. But, hey, Julie's here too. Yay. Okay. Good. Thank you. That was cool. All right, so let's go through the clues. So first of all, I hope you got clue 1 okay. I did chop that in half, like I said. But first, start with a 4x4 piece of patterned paper for inspiration. So I'm going to, as usual, do 2 different ones just to give you some variety. So this first one, I'm going to use this paper, which is Plentiful Plants. And this is one of the paper packs that is going to be discontinued, and so I wanted to use it because it's really very cool. These are neat because you can fussy cut them out, and that's what I did for for the focal point one, but I'll get to that in a second. So anyway, there's some neat patterns and designs, and unfortunately I'm not going to use the back of this because it was just a little too plain compared to, I wanted to use this jungle looking one. So I have this other one that I thought went pretty well, similar colors and all that. And then all right, so that's the one. It's going to be this. And then here's the other piece that's going with it. And then let's see, the other card, I'm going to use this. And that is from this is called You're a Peach Designer Series paper. And this has some really pretty colors. I really like these. I didn't get the peach set. I just, choices, right? But there's some really pretty papers, and I figured if all else fails, you can see there's just patterns, right? But, oh, I like this one with the polka dots. And then the back of this one is green. So the back of that's green. So that I'm going to use the other side of this for the alternatives. So there's the two different kinds I'm going to do. So then the next thing you should have from your pattern paper, choose a color for the card base. All right, so this one I'm choosing the Evening Evergreen card base. Okay, so I have a dark color, for example, of that, which I'm going to use. I'm going to heat emboss the words in white, so that's why I chose a darker color. But this one I'm going to use a lighter color. And so that's going to be this paper, this petal pink. So actually I'm going to fold that now while I'm thinking about it, since I have limited space on this table. All right, so there I've got, so that's how I was inspired. I had the petal pink and I used that, and this had the, both of these had the evergreen. Okay, next, focal point. This can be something you stamp and fussy cut or punch out, but it should be no wider than 1 1/4 wide and 2 inches tall. Or you can use multiple small things, images, and cluster them if you want. So choose colors from or images in the from pattern paper. So what I did actually mention, you might even be able to die cut or fussy cut an image or two from a similar pattern paper. So that's what I did for this one. Okay, so that one I fussy cut, and I'll be able to put those together. That'll be my focal point. Okay, and for this one, honestly, I realized too late that I did not have that ready. So what I'm going to do is use Free as a Bird and these two stamps. I'm going to cut 2 leaves and 1 flower, and then that'll be my focal point. Okay, so maybe I better do that real quick while I'm talking about some of this other stuff. All right, so let's see. I'm going to use Memento ink. So hopefully you've got these things together. The other things that you can do, you need is a black ink pad or dark coordinating color for the words. So for this one example, if you wanted to, this has black in it, so I'm going to use black, but if you didn't have black in it, you use navy or dark green or something like that, depending on what your colors are. And then let's see, a greeting or word stamp up to 2 inches wide or 1 inch tall or so. It can definitely be smaller. And then adhesive, Stampin' Dimensionals, scissors, embellishments, and optional Wink of Stella, Crystal Effects, glitter glue, that kind of thing. All right, so actually, yeah, I'm going to do these separately. All right, so I'm going to oops, and then this. So if the other thing that I did not put on there that is was very helpful when I actually did the card, and I did not put it in on time, was a ruler and a pencil. Not absolutely critical, but they were very helpful. So, all right, I'm going to use maybe petal pink. Okay, I might use a tiny bit of coral. It looks like that's in here for the center. Helpful with that. Come on. There we go. Probably more than I needed there. All right, so, and then here. Ooh. It's okay if I went out of line because I'm going to cut it out. All right, and then, sorry, I should have had this done earlier, but okay, I'm going to do this. Okay, so hopefully you're all prepared for that. I will get this much done and then I'll do the rest of it in the next step. Okay, so there I've got alright, there I have my focal points. They're not quite ready, but hopefully you're with me for the rest of it. Okay, so that's clue 1. Hey, Nancy's here too, and James, yay! Awesome. Well, hopefully, let me know if I'm going too fast or way too slow or whatever. I'm trying to be, helpful here. I think doing 2 while you do 1 hopefully will help, since I know what I'm doing here, and you are figuring it out without an example, which is actually very challenging at times, right? So on the back of your printed paper, make a mark about 1 inch down, doesn't need to be exact, on the left side. Draw a line. A ruler or straight edge of cardstock might help from the mark to the bottom right corner. All right, that sounds really complicated, right? But it's actually not. So let's do it one part at a time. Make a mark about 1 inch down on the left side. All right, so see how I did that? It's about 1 inch down on the left side. Draw a line. A ruler or straight edge of cardstock helps. So what you can do is take your card. I'm going to actually do it on this side since I'm right-handed. So I'm going to go from the mark to the bottom right-hand corner. See? Bottom right-hand corner. All right. So I'm just making a diagonal line, but it's not completely diagonal. It's sort of lower. Okay. So there I made a line. All right. See how the pencil did help? If you have a ruler, that would help too, although I used the edge of my card and it worked fine. And then it says cut the paper at this line. So I need to do that with this one too. And fortunately, it's a pattern that goes any direction, so it doesn't matter. I didn't really mention that in the directions, but hopefully you can make that work. All right, and then I'll do this, and I'm going to cut those. All right, so I did mention you need scissors, right? I think I did. All right, so, or you could use a trimmer. This would work too. If you're shaky with the scissors, maybe the trimmer would be good. Okay, so that's clue 2. Okay. Match the edge you just cut the pattern paper with the left edge of your card front. All right, so this is the one we're focusing on, the bigger piece. I should have probably put that at the bigger piece. So this part that oh dear. I just cut that wrong. Can I believe it? How did I do that? It's supposed to go like this. So you're supposed to do that not on the back, but on the front. That doesn't make sense. I guess it does. I'm so sorry. I hope that doesn't screw everyone up. Yeah, it's supposed to be the other way. Well, that means I'm going to have to redo that. Lovely. I'm really glad I didn't boost this one, because obviously I don't know what I'm doing here. It wouldn't be me, though, if I didn't make a mistake somewhere, right? Okay, so I'm going to recut this 4-inch square. All right, so this should be on the front. We should make a mark about 1 inch down and cut, or use the So, or you could do it, reverse the directions, but that is the right way to do it. You can use a trimmer for that. All right, let's get rid of this before I get confused. All right, so there I have this, and it's going to it says the edge that you just cut the pattern paper with, the left edge of your card fronts, the left edge of the card front. So that's going to line up so that the original mark, that was this one, with the top of the card, and the point of the pattern paper will stick out above the card. See that? See how it's higher than that? Okay, so we're going to attach this to the card at this point, and then we'll trim this part off here. So let's see, I will put some adhesive there, and then this is going to go right along the edge there with the mark that I made at the top. Okay. All right, and then this gets trimmed. I think it's easier to look at the back. Okay, that's what it should look like. All right, so let me get the next. Actually, I thought I had, yeah, I did. Okay, so this one, I would make the mark on the front about 1 inch down and make that diagonal mark. Okay, so how are we doing? Hopefully you're with me. All right, so there. And we will attach that right there. It's going to be pretty. I like this one. Okay, and we'll trim that. So this is going to look, well, I can't tell you too much, so it's a mystery, right? All right. Okay, so that is clue 3. Should look like these. Okay. All right, the piece of pattern paper that you have remaining may be used on the far right edge flipped to show the other design, or you can use a different piece of paper. The only thing is the points in the middle of the card need to overlap each other about 1/2 inch at right angles, meaning if you could see through this paper, the 2 corners would create a 1/2 inch square. Okay, so here, this paper that I cut off, I'm going to flip this one, all right, and I'm going to put this so that it's about a 1/2 inch square right here. Does that make sense? This one might have to be a touch smaller because this paper doesn't quite line up, but it should be a square. All right. So I am going to put some adhesive on the back here. Right here. So this is going to be at right angles. So, but the top, the second piece, if the second pattern piece doesn't line up on the edge of the card, that's okay. Just make sure the bottom corner, or whatever the shortest one is, are on the card. Okay, so this one was the shortest one, so I'm going to have to cut that off. But I want this to be square. if that makes sense. Square here, making a little mini invisible square there. All right, hopefully that made sense. Now, it's almost easier if you have a different patterned paper. Oh, I'm cutting in. Okay, so, all right, so that's this card. This one, I decided to use a different piece of paper altogether. All right, so that's not going to be as bad. I can put that right about here, and I will attach that and cut this off. And I could actually use this for a different card. And I could use this part for this part. Because actually, look at this. See how this actually would be just right. But I didn't want the same two crossing over. I wanted to have two different patterns. So that didn't quite work. That's why I'm going to do this. Okay? So, let's see. Right about here. I'm going to flip that. And then that's going to go. So, making this little invisible square right here. All right. So, I'll have a lot left over that I can make another card. So, this is sort of a, you could be two cards here. Okay, so I could use this for another one. Oops, sorry. A little off the edge there. All right, so there I have my clue 4 done. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay. Sorry about that mix-up on clue 3. That was terrible. All right. Clue 5, using your focal point elements and Stampin' Dimensionals, arrange it on top of the far right side piece near the points that cross in the middle, but not over it. So on the far right side piece, near the points that cross in the middle, but not over it. All right, so right here. So the ones that cross in the middle, but not on top of it. So basically, not on top of it, like that. I want to put this on the right-hand piece, but next to it, the crossover part. Okay, and I'm going to glue this, although I cleaned up so well. I'm not seeing my glue. That's very strange. So I will have to use a glue dot because, oh, here it is. It's hiding behind my mini cut and emboss. All right, so I'm going to use dimensionals for that. Oh, no. I think I used my minis up. I need to get another package. Okay, so I'm going to put these on the back so it's popped up a little. Now, this is, if you have more than one element, like this other card I'm going to do, this is a single one that I cut out of the similar paper. Okay, so that's going to go right here, and I could even make that go off the edge if I wanted to, which I might. Okay, and then this one has the these that I needed to that I stamped and need to cut out real quick. So yeah, so hopefully, I don't know how everybody else, Northeast Ohio had snow today. My son's girlfriend was saying, she's like, I feel like we've gone back in time. Like this is January again instead of March with all the daffodils and stuff out. So, but that's kind of typical for Ohio. Unfortunately, the weather changes easily, quickly, drastically. So, but it's melting already, so I'm sure we'll be back to normal in no time. Back to March. In fact, two of my guys went camping this past weekend. And it was quite miserable, as you can imagine, with the snow. So they actually came home a little early, which seems like a first, but probably they said they've done it before. I don't remember that, but all right. So there's one set of leaves. So yeah. Yep. There's just never enough time, Oh, am I even on the screen as I do this? I'm sorry if I'm not. You know what? That's going to go underneath the flower, so I don't care. All right, and then here's the flower. I appreciate you guys so much. I'm glad you joined me. And I can't wait to see what everybody's cards look like. And what kind of patterns you picked. Every time I do one of these, I feel like, oh, the next one's going to be so much better. I'm going to do it right now, so it's all ready. And then something happens, and next thing I know, the next date has come up already. Like tomorrow. Tomorrow is my regular weekly Facebook Live. And I had such plans to get that all ready. And now I'm subbing tomorrow for one of my favorite schools, teaching art. So, I just didn't want to pass that up. But, that's what happens, right? So now I'm gonna have to work on that tonight and when I get home from school. So, all right, now I'm going to, because of time, just stick this down with some glue dots. All right, I'm gonna put this here, and I'm gonna put this one above it. And then, let's see, and then this will go on top of it with dimensional. I'll use a big one for this one. Okay. So, got to cover. Okay, so there I have my focal points attached with dimensionals. All right, and there's still the crossover that's still not covered up. Okay, Number 6, stamp your greeting on the card base at the bottom under the point to the crossover. So here's the point to the crossover, and I want to stamp it right there. All right, so this one, I'm going to do happiest of birthdays to you. All right, I'll use black since there's a little bit of black. Oh, I almost dropped that. Oh, look at what happened. I got it all over my hand. Never fails. Today was one of those days for Ben too. My son Ben. We were teasing him, but he got barbecue sauce on the tablecloth a couple times. He got it on his shirt somehow. He was blending up the frosting and left some lumps of butter in there. And what else? A whole bunch of stuff. So it's kind of a klutzy day, and it apparently is for me too. So, all right, so I stamped that in black ink. Now this one was, remember, a dark color, so I want to heat emboss white. So I'm going to use white. I think I said that already, didn't I? All right, so here's my heat emboss stuff. Do this real quick. So I cover this with the embossing buddy to reduce static, and then I'm going to use white crafts ink and a stamp. Best thing about you is today. So I used these last week, and they will work perfectly for this one. Okay, and then I'm going to dust this with some white embossing powder. Looking good. All right, and then I'm going to heat emboss this. Forgive the noise, but you can enjoy seeing it melt just like me. So you can tell it's melting, in case you're new to this, when it turns extra white. Okay. Oh, see there? About from you and today. There. All right. All right, clue 7. Finally, use embellishments, dots or a bow, plus wink of Stella or crystal effects if you want to further enhance your card. Okay, so I thought I'm going to use this baker's twine, and I'm going to make a bow for my pot. I thought about, I could even do this and get that underneath that. You know what, I think I'm just going to make a bow and attach it. Okay. And that will go right there. With the glue dots. There. There's that card. And then this one, I think could use something maybe in the center of the flower. Maybe. So how about this? Oh, this is just the right shade. We'll put that on there. And then, you know what? Let's do a couple other drip drops kind of thing. So I like to, let's see. How about that? All right. And if you want to use crystal effects, you could do anything like this stuff. This is a fine tip glue pen. This you can, it's glue, but if you let it dry, it acts as a crystal effects kind of thing. So you could outline maybe, well, my hand's shaking too much anyway, so need to, haven't used that in a while either. I do have crystal effects that are going to be, these are running, these are going to be discontinued, so if you want to, you can do that. There. Just a little something if you want to. You might not even need to. All right, so hope you like that. Hopefully those directions were not too complicated. I know I kind of messed up myself. So, and I can't wait to see your cards. So what I need you, or would like you to do, you don't have to do this, but if I will give away one of these cards to someone who posts their picture on this video after you're done, to see, because I'd love to see what everybody ends up with. Okay, what kind of patterns you picked and colors, because I think it's going to be just, you know, the same design, but it's going to be really different. Okay, so yeah, so be sure to do that. And we figured out, I think the best way to do that is when you want to post, and then there's a little camera. I think that was how we decided it worked, right? And then you can upload a picture for your comment, I guess. So, but I think you have to do it after this is posted. So, anyway, hopefully it won't be that hard, but let me know if it is, because we figured this out last time. It's June at youcanstamp.com if you need to. And you can go to youcanstamp.com. I have that up here in the corner. I'm going to be changing this host code really soon, so you can check out what the new one's going to be in the upper right hand corner of my website. And that, clicking on that box will take you directly to the online store. And if we are running out of time for March, but we have a bunch of things on sale. If you are interested, taking advantage of that, I would recommend it. The mini Stampin' Cut is, mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine is on sale for 20% off, so it's $48. First time I've ever seen it on sale. And then bunch of bundles. This one was one of my favorites, which I demonstrated twice. And then I also, all of these. So that is 13 different bundles that are available right now for 20% off. But that's only to the end of March. Okay, so take advantage of that, and then they are going to be raising shipping costs just a little, but you know, every bit helps while you can. So there's also, be sure to check out all of the last chance sale, because there's a bunch of things on sale for that at various discounts, and this is your last chance to get them because it's only while supplies last. They're coming out with the new catalog in May, and that's really not that far down the road. So those are all things you might want to check out. Let's see. I feel like every time I get off talking, I stop talking. It turns out I forgot something. So, okay. Well, I think I've covered it. I had a little list here. Just come back tomorrow night if you can. I will have some more cards to show you. I'm going to try to focus on Easter, although I'm not done with all of it yet. So I pulled all the discontinued stuff, and there's a lot of things I still need to use yet. So, yep. Oh, and here's the card this is what I usually forget. This is the card that inspired it all. I did this at the January 4th stamp, January 4th Facebook Live. So if you are interested in how I did that, I also have a demonstration video for that. But you can see I used the same basic pattern, basic idea. Okay. So, all right. Well, that only took 45 minutes. That's not too bad. 40 minutes, really. I hope you all have a really great evening. Maybe make some more cards like this. Be sure to post them. Be sure to come back tomorrow. And have a great night. Thanks a lot for coming. Bye.